Welcome back. As promised, let's get straight to the conversation with Sean Corcoran, the head of research at CLSA, who joins us on the show. Hi, Sean. Thanks a lot for joining in and good to see you in. Well, we were just speaking to Alexander, who said that tactical switch has moved back in favor of India. And that's heartening to hear. We just hope that the flows follow as well.
Yep.
In terms of India, if you could tell us the top themes that you all are bullish on. We have seen a lot of correction, on that. Everyone was bullish on the financials and banking space, but that sector has pulled back quite a bit. There is some kind of spice building up now in the metal space as well. Which is the top theme that you all prefer?
Yeah, so for India, I think the key thing is actually what Alex was referring to earlier, which is that return of the international investor appetite is the thing that we think is going to be the most interesting, in that investors have been reluctant to chase this story. There's been local conviction that the demand is absolutely there, and as a result, I think it's the shift in the ownership over time that's going to be the major change in the way the market's trading.
So in that case, from the numbers that you've seen so far, we've been talking about how there was earnings disappointment in the second quarter. Where do you see more room for upgrades from here on, and where is still possibility of a downgrade from current levels as well?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to the internal market structure of India, what we'd suggest is that the sectors that are more export-oriented and externally oriented are the ones that are going to face the greatest risk, in that there's a generalised slowdown that we see coming from global markets. And the only real upside from a global perspective would be that obviously the US is looking to provide some more fiscal support to its market, and therefore some relative resilience compared to global demand. On the domestic front, what we'd suggest is the banking sector certainly has got some challenges around the change in the interest rate environment, and when we look at local demand, we'd say the consumption sector looks relatively resilient. The other area that we have high conviction is around the consumer electronics space, where India has a niche that's breaking out in terms of its ability to deliver into global demand.
Got it. Sean, are there any global themes which will play out in India as well? I mean, they always do, and much faster now, and there's much more globalized kind of a world. What's your sense? I mean, a lot of talk about renewables, a lot of large conglomerates building out renewables capacity here in India. I'm sure some are at your conference presenting as well. Let's talk about 2 or 3 themes.
Yep, so energy as a sector we're actually quite bullish on, and we think India has the right approach. And the reason is that historically, over the last several years, there's been a push away from carbon-based energies on this idea that we certainly do need to move towards renewable, and sustainability was a core theme. However, that really failed to address the affordability of that energy. And what India has done, which we absolutely agree with, is take a more realistic view in that it seeks to drive sustainability. Pushing towards solar and wind, absolutely required, but at the same time there's still a core role for traditional carbon-based energies. And as a result, we think that India has the right strategy approach, and the world is actually coming to the Indian approach over time. And you can really see it in the way global leaders are talking about sustainability and starting to think about the implications of cost versus the delivery of that energy. If we had to pick one key theme that will change the global energy construct, it's nuclear. We see a nuclear renaissance coming, and the key catalyst for that is twofold. One is a realisation that we need to be more realistic on how do we deliver sustainable energy globally. But second, with the rise of AI, you have a whole new cohort of investors that have conviction they need a source of energy, and they're using nuclear to deliver it. When we think about that, the energy delivered from nuclear for AI can be done through new small modular reactors, and we have the whole venture capital industry in the US that's really moving on this. And the election of Trump means that we're going to see less regulation, and players like Sam Altman are championing this new move, where you have a change in the structure of how the energy sector works, insofar as we have a private buyer of this energy seeking to create private production for private means. It's a fundamental shift in the construct of demand for energy, and particularly for the ability to bring nuclear alive through what's obviously a very tough regulatory environment for obvious reasons.
And by the way, India is one of the few countries, even over the last couple of years, which is building reactors. I think we're building about 10 or 12 reactors. They're under construction here in India. So that's a global theme. I mean, and sort of find plays on that theme here in India as well. That would be the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from our perspective, our top pick is actually an American stock that is really around delivering SMRs. But you've raised exactly the key point, which is there are many economies. The poster child of this would be Germany, that has turned their back on nuclear. We've just seen that Japan has been reluctant to approve changes in nuclear, and so it's moving very slowly. We're here in India. There was never that turn away from India. They've been in the embrace of the role of nuclear as a core part of the energy construct. So we expect India to play a core role in sustaining the adoption and the acceleration of adoption of nuclear in the next decade or so.
All right, Sean, since we're talking about energy, what about solar energy? You know, over the last few years, we have seen that solar modules, solar cells as well, have seen a lot of demand. And India has been gaining actually at the cost of China, particularly with regard to policies in the United States.
Yeah.
How do you view that as a theme, the solar theme?
Yeah, so the commitment to solar will not go away, and solar is really, like many manufacturing-oriented businesses, you must continue to deliver scale to enjoy the economics or the benefits of scale through cost, and that will continue. Governments around the world are not going to turn away from solar, and India is absolutely going to continue to gain share. When you see this geopolitical shift, there's obviously an opportunity for India to step in where there might be some reluctance to buy Chinese product from a global perspective. From the solar perspective, the only challenge that solar will face is it has new competition in terms of clean energy coming from nuclear, but that will not reverse the position of global governments. It just means that the traditional carbon-based sources of energy remain crucial, but will lose share over time.
All right, final question before we let you go, Sean. Going back to the sectors itself, you said that there is a downside risk to external facing sectors in India, whereas there is an upside risk or risk of revival for the domestic sectors itself. And that's exactly the opposite of what a lot of people believe, because with Trump coming back, maybe, a stronger US could do well for some of our external facing sectors, and domestic, which everyone's bullish on, has been facing a bit of a slowdown over the last couple of quarters. So in light of that, what are the upside and downside risks? And if you could, talk us about through some of your top picks in India.
Right. So what I'd suggest is that when we look at the US position, it's an interesting paradox in that the US has been decelerating and global demand has been decelerating, and the market is rightfully looking for the Trump administration to pick up demand in the US. However, we have to think about the timing of how this unfolds. So Trump will introduce tariffs, which is going to be difficult for growth or certainly for consumption in the US, at the same time that the tax cuts that are being looked for are going to take quite a lot of time to come through. So overall, as that process unfolds, it means there's scope for near-term disappointment in the US. You've seen the US market break out just at the same time that the Indian market is correcting. And so from a tactical perspective, it means there's scope for, as we mentioned earlier, foreign investors to buy into that, especially those that are underweight, as they start to narrow their underweight in India, at the same time that there'll be scope for profit-taking tactically in the US as we move into the new year. That's the point that I'm making in terms of the push against the consensus narrative opportunity.
All right, take that point. Always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much. Have a great conference, and obviously we'll revisit this conversation with you and talk about the themes during the course of the future as well. Have a good one.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV 18 on all of our digital platforms.